Hello everyone, this is Shy NT, like the letter N and T, and welcome to another episode of That Shy Life, where we talk about how it feels to be shy. There is this situation that many of us encounter, at least I want to believe a lot of us encounter at a certain point in life. Like when you find that person, either that classmate or that neighbor or just that random friend that you made somewhere somehow, and the person is just special, and you really feel at ease, or at least you're very happy whenever you're around the person, or perhaps not necessarily being around the person but just talking to the person, texting the person. It just feels so peaceful and you're so happy, and you feel like you have literally found your soulmate or something like that. And then you end up really like clinging to the person. But like not so much. It's like you're sitting there in your own corner and you have that friend, you have that person on who you can count for anything, like literally anything, and you're sure that you can tell anything to that person. At any time that you call, the person will answer and will always be there to listen. And it doesn't necessarily need to be like your best friend or your lover or your brother or anyone from your family. No, it's just that one friend that is special and you just feel that connection and you really don't want to label it in a particular way. You just want to keep it as a friend. But then, and then you guys speak often, yes. You don't speak so much like, every single minute, but of course you speak more than often, and it's always so great. But then, anyways, let me just actually go to what I went through. So I had this one friend which I met in the course of my education. Yeah, I don't really feel like saying when exactly. So I had this one friend that I met when I was younger in the course of my education, and I would have never thought that that friend will become such a close friend, or at least I would think of that friend as such a close friend and such a reliable person. So most of the times we were chatting a lot, laughing. I was a really, I mean, I am still a really quiet person, especially in real life. Like when I meet someone face to face, I'm not very, extroverted, laughing, and you know, that energy that people usually have. I don't really have that. It's true that I think I've improved with time, like I am less calm, but still. Yeah, so usually when I will meet with the person in person, I won't be that energetic, but I still feel so happy and so glad and so peaceful and so at ease. And we would still talk from time to time and play and laugh. But most of the times, we would instead like, send text messages or being on phone calls. And we had like this ritual where we would like text each other. I won't say every night, but like very often in the night. And we will go on for hours and hours. Sometimes we really don't have anything to tell to each other, but we just know that, okay, it's time for us to chat or like to play any random game. You know, just being there. And it was so nice to know that I have this person that is here. Okay, saying I have this person that is here, it doesn't even describe it the way I want to describe it, but I don't know if you feel me. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. it just felt really precious, like it was a precious connection. It had no labeling like best friend or I don't know, brother or whatever. It just really felt special. But then at a certain point, I started to realize I was always the one trying to like, the ritual of every night. I was always the one texting first or calling first. And I didn't realize that soon enough because the person is just naturally a kind person, naturally a social person, very extroverted, and the person has never meant any bad thing. The person is really, really naturally kind, and I mean it. But, you know, I realized that I was always the one reaching out first, always texting, calling. And when I realized that, I kind of felt bad. But then I told myself, is it just me that is, I don't know, I just can't wait to talk to the person. That is why it just so happens that I'm always the first texting and calling. So I decided to just stop and I gave it some time. But then the person would contact me, yeah. Like, if we were supposed to like start chatting at like 7 p.m., the person would contact me at 11 p.m., which would be very weird because 7 p.m. is the usual thing and the person knows. And I'll be like, why didn't you reach out at 7 p.m.? And then the person, of course, the person will say, normally you're the one who reaches out first, so I was waiting for you and stuff. And that is where you like, start being the clinging type. And you start saying stuff like, even though I was expecting you to reach out first for once and stuff like that. Um, yeah. But then, you bypass that and then you keep on chatting and laughing. But as time passes, you keep trying stuff like that. You try to disappear for a while, but the person doesn't reach out, or at least not as fast as you would expect the person to. And it just feels so bad because the way you thought of that connection, the way you thought of that friendship, the person was supposed to be like, I don't know, much more, should I say, involved, but much more not willing to let so much time pass before we actually try to know if I'm still alive. Because that is how you felt. All the time you wanted to text the person, but you were just trying to kind of test the person and disappear in quotes. And many times you have done that. Many times the person was always very distant in a way. And many times you had that conversation of why are you not reaching out first? And many times the person was like, okay, I'm gonna start reaching out. But many times the person did not. And slowly that is how you realize, okay, I might be way too attached and the person is not as attached as I am. So you try to like control yourself, and not exaggerate. But the more you do that, the more the connection that you thought was special is fading away. Like, and that's when you realize you were the only one, or at least the way you thought of it was way, like way too far from the way the other person thought of it. And yeah, like you were so mistaken. And it feels so bad. Like the person is genuinely so kind and you know it for sure. Like it's not even like in movies that the person just does bad things in your back or stuff like that. No, you just know it. So it's not that the person was trying to like hurt you or anything, but that connection, the way you felt it, is just not it's just not shared in the friendship. Like the friendship was very much one-sided, and that felt so bad. Until this day, from time to time, I'll just think about it And sometimes I am tempted to actually text or call, but I don't want to fall back into that. It's like it's like smoking or drinking. But okay, I don't smoke and I don't drink, so but from what I've seen, when you're addicted to that and then you really try hard to get out of the addiction, but from time to time you fall back into it. And then when you actually succeed to get out of it, like for a really, really long time, you really don't want to try and just even look at a cigarette or a drink or just taste it, because you know that if you just make a small mistake, you're going to go back deep into it again. So you really try to control yourself. And as much as it pains, especially at the beginning, with time, it gets better, I would say. Or at least I don't feel the need to text the person that often anymore, especially with the fact that I've grown up and I've become very busy. But to be honest, being busy is not even an excuse to not text someone or reach out to someone. Like, if someone is a priority, you're never too busy. But I've become busy in quotes, so I don't even have much time to debate whether I should text the person or not or call. And then, at the beginning it was very hard, but now I feel better. Like it's easier to think about it and, you know, not being too sad or like feeling too pathetic about it. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it today. Like that attachment, that feeling. And I actually wrote, you know, yeah, I actually wrote an essay about this particular kind of situation for one of my application for a 4-year college. And I'm probably going to make it another episode that will be like kind of a part two of this one, just to like read that essay to you guys because I'm very proud of it. All right. Have you ever felt like that or something similar to that? I really hope not. And if you have, I really hope you feel better today, or at least, I really hope the best. If you're at ease, share your story, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, and see you soon.